Here we have a new 2023 Nissan Versa. This one comes in the base model, the S trim level. And this color is super black, and our interior is going to be charcoal cloth. The powertrain consists of a 1.6 liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder engine, made it to a CVT. Now coming around to the front end here, we did get that refresh for 2023. This one still has the halogen headlamps, of course, with this one being the base model, but still love what they've done just with the super black and then having the gloss black throughout here. The only black plastic is this here and then that there. That's all you can see from the front. And the chrome is actually a nice touch to go with the headlamps, so not bad design at all. Down to the wheels here, these are gonna be 15-inch steel. And then you have the wheel covers on these. Now to the door panel, we do get power door locks, a rear window lock, power mirror controls. You can just pick a side and then adjust. Then you have power windows with one-touch automatic up and down for the driver's side. Bottle holder there, a little storage on the door panel. You use this to go through your gauge cluster, rear parking sensor toggle, lane departure toggle. You can turn the forward collision alert on and off, and then traction control as well. Popping the gas cap here and then the hood, and then this is for the trunk. And then this is gonna be a 6-way manual driver's seat. But huge shout out to John Roberts Nissan for allowing me to review this car today. I'll leave a link below to it, as well as the entire inventory they have in the description below. But pause anywhere you need to for this window sticker. Sticker's right at $19,145 with the options. Fuel economy numbers. Now let's take a look at this back seat room. So with the seat up front adjusted for someone of my size, being 6'3", longer legs, that's how I drive, and that's kind of where the steering wheel is too, so I had to move the seat back a bit more. Not terrible leg room, especially for this kind of car, but the room over there is fine. So if a shorter person were sitting up there, or even somebody who doesn't need that much space, as you can see, the steering wheel is in the way. I could probably sit back there, but as I lean back, my head does brush against the headliner. So, but again, I expect that from this kind of car. 2 USB-A ports, bottle holder. I mean, it is only $19,000, $19,145 sticker. And you still get quite a bit for the money. Fuel cap there. And as we come around to the back, gonna pop this trunk open, and then still great space back here. And then underneath here, you have your spare tire if you ever need that. And then this does have that optional trunk net, so you can use that as well. Now to open the trunk, you saw where the release was. The other way is to stick your key in there because you don't have a key fob standard with this. But if you want a car under $20,000, you're probably not worried about that. Coming around to the rear passenger side, we do have our lower anchors here for car seats, and then you have your top tethers up here, but you cannot fold this seat down. And then over here you have your 4-way manual front passenger seat. Glove compartment. Great size, honestly, for this kind of car. It's really a great size in general. But back to the front here, let's go ahead and pop the hood. There's that 1.6 liter 4-cylinder. And if you're curious about how this vehicle is made, there's your parts content. But let's go ahead and hop in the driver's seat next. So we have the vinyl wrap steering wheel here. Pretty good feel. Love the flat bottom look. Now over here, I think this is a 7-inch screen. We have AM, FM, Bluetooth audio and aux input. And then you have USB, but no CarPlay or Android Auto. That's your home page there. And to connect your Bluetooth, just add that and it'll walk you through it. I do like the screen though, because it's simplistic and it doesn't do too much. So for those of you that like something simple, everything makes sense. Sound is gonna be here, adjust your bass, treble, so on and so forth. You don't have to go through 8 menus and you're like, how do I connect my Bluetooth, because there's so much on here. And then if you just wanna do it the old fashioned way, you just hit that Bluetooth button there and it takes you to your phone settings and all that. Everything just makes sense here. So volume, mute, and then you can turn it back down. And then the display, you can turn that on and off. You can go through your tracks, all of that, tune, and then that'll seek for you, back button. So again, just makes sense. And then if you want to hit, do a quick shortcut, you can adjust your sound, like bass, treble, and all that from right here. Now down here, you have your AC controls. You can adjust where the fan direction is coming from here. You can adjust the speed here, and then the temperature here. And then toggle your AC on and off. And then your vents, you can open the circulation on and off, and then your rear defrost is here. Down here, USB-A aux input, 12 volt. Pretty good storage size back there. And then for the shifter, hit the brake, pull the lever, reverse, neutral, drive. Then you have a low gear, and then you hit this button to toggle your sport mode. Parking brake, cup holders here, a little additional storage there. Hazards are here. And there's a view of the back seat from up here. And then let's take a look at the dome lights. That's what they look like. And then to the steering wheels, the stalks over here, blinker, auto, high or low beams, and then you can toggle your high beams there, flash there, corners off. And then over here you have your windshield wiper control. So one time, and then it defaults to off, and then you have intermittent, low, high, and you can adjust your intermittent wipers there. Volume controls are going to be right here. You can go through your track list or radio station presets using these buttons. Voice recognition, Bluetooth, source. I love how they made that simple, so you can toggle between AM, FM, Bluetooth, whatever you have hooked up. And then cruise control, you just have the standard cruise here, and you can adjust that as need be using these buttons. Now over here, I'll show you the gauge cluster. So this is what you can toggle through for your views up top. And then right here, this will go ahead and toggle your trips or the odometer, depending on what you want to look at. And then there's the key right there. It's just turnkey, no push button or anything like that. And next, it's time we go ahead and take this 2023 Versa S out on the road for a test drive. So starting the test drive in the Versa here, I've driven, I think, an SV and an SL. So I've kind of gotten used to these cars, just in terms of how they drive, specifically the 23s after the refresh. And these are great cars if you're just, if money is a big thing for you, especially with how expensive cars have gotten. These are some of the cheapest cars you can get. And honestly, if you keep the CVT maintained, they'll last you a minute. I always say that my girlfriend, her grandmother had a Versa forever, and it was like an impeccable condition with 200,000 miles on it, but she just followed the scheduled maintenance, always took it to the dealer, got the CVT maintained like it was supposed to, and the only reason that she doesn't have it anymore is because she got a new one. I think she has like a 21 or 22 Versa SR. And the SRs are honestly, for me to pay the extra 5-6 grand, I'd recommend it. But if you're one of those people who just doesn't care about anything, just as long as it gets you from A to B, has a warranty, all of that, this is gonna be perfect for you. And if you don't like using the adaptive cruise and having all that technology anyways, you'd rather have this and save the money. Me personally, I like having the adaptive cruise, I like having remote start, I like having a key fob, but this S is a really good option for people who, if you're looking at maybe a Chevy Spark or a Toyota, like an older Yaris, those kind of cars that you don't care how big they are, all it's gonna be is you driving them around to and from work, and you're trying to get 40 miles per gallon. You're just about cutting costs. This is the kind of car that you need to look at. Now the ride is not, I wouldn't say it's harsh, but it's certainly not plush. But this drives like a $19,000 car would. And of course, without all the options, the cargo trays and the floor mats and all of that, it's a heck closer to $17,000 car. But super simple to drive. And if that's a big thing for you, again, there's a pretty big market for people who like these cars, and I'll probably check several of the reasons why. Another good thing is, even with the touch screen, you start going up in trim levels with certain cars, and all of a sudden you can't connect your Bluetooth, or you don't know how to do this, you don't know how to do that, because there's so much going on here. This is super simple. You hit the home button, boom, AM, FM, Bluetooth, aux, all of it's right there. Settings. You don't have to do this and then do that and then spin around 3 times and all that. So again, just super simple car to use and to learn, really. And a lot of people don't realize, for especially older people who, again, they're on a fixed income, or even if you're not older and you're on a fixed income, this is cheap to maintain. This is cheap to keep running, and everything is so simple. A lot of people are wanting maybe a car that's 40 grand that's as simple as this to use. And it's just hard to come by, because most people want the latest and greatest, especially, you know, you're starting to get to the Gen Y, Gen Z, all of them are driving and starting to control the economy. And then even our older generations are trying to, you know, be tech savvy and learn how to use this, and they want this and they want that, because it's just so, we're just a service driven, and that's just how we are as a society right now. But this kind of has a little bit of both. So you still have your Bluetooth and cruise control, all of that, but you don't have all that extra stuff that you might not want, might not need, and certainly don't want to pay for. Now, in terms of driving this, it's not for me. I like turbos, I like electric cars, I like having the torque and the power when I need it. And this is a naturally aspirated 4-cylinder, a small one at that. It's not like the 2.5 you get in the Toyota. You got a 1.6 liter. So let me put it in sport mode. Let's see what it'll do. So not terrible acceleration. What makes these somewhat quick is the CVT. A lot of people don't realize the CVT is meant for the efficiency, but since it's a variable transmission, you don't have to worry about a specific shift point, and then you're having lag there. And then of course, with it being naturally aspirated, you're not having to worry about turbo lag. So it just goes. And it doesn't have a lot of power, but all the power that you're getting, you're not having a loss of it from shift points or whatever. But cruising down the interstate here, actually, not a bad ride at all. These seats for me don't really do it. They're just not comfortable for longer journeys. I think the SR with a power seat would make a huge difference. But I mean, as you can see here, it's not an expensive seat, let's just say that. But all in all, definitely, if that's not a big deal for you, or if you have a bunch of, like, you have a booster and like a heating pad that you're gonna strap to your seat back and then run it off a 12 volt. If you're one of those kind of people, this is the perfect car for you, because it is not expensive at all with how it's made, with the materials in it, but most importantly, with how much it costs. So what I like about the Versa is where it's inexpensive to create, that's passed down to the consumer. So you're not gonna have a lot of markup in these cars. You're not gonna have a lot of profit from the dealers if that's something you're worried about, because it's such a cheap car. There's not gonna be a lot of room to make money in here. But it does help with the loyalty of the customer. So you drive a Versa and then all of a sudden you want to upgrade to a Sentra, you want to upgrade to an Altima, or all of a sudden you have a kid, you want to upgrade to a Rogue. Everything is pretty easy to transition to in terms of just driving capability, getting used to the controls, and then just how Nissan designs their vehicles as well. But again, if you're looking for something like the Yaris, like a Chevy Spark, or even like the Ford Fiesta when it was out, definitely make sure you take a look at this new 2023 Nissan Versa S.